Hello everyone. So I've been getting a lot of requests and videos about the house ownership process, and I just want you guys to know that I'm definitely going to do several videos, more than one, because it's just not enough to do in one video. I feel like I would need more than one personally if it was me looking for information. So for this video, I want to specifically talk about preparation before you even go out to look, because that was something that I wasn't as well versed in. I thought like I could just go look for houses, and I want you to know that that's not how it works. There's a lot of preparation that you have to do beforehand. So this is what you do before you go and you buy the house. The first thing you want to do, I found for me, is get an idea of what your budget is. And this is like not calling the bank to find out how much you approve for. That's not what I'm talking about. Find out your budget. Like, if you were to move out of your current living situation and buy a house, how much could you afford to pay every single month? Like, think about that, because everyone says buying a house is, you know, is less, or owning a house is less expensive than renting, and part of that is true and part of that is not as completely clear or accurate as I think people who are hearing that are thinking. I think when we hear it's less expensive, we're thinking it'll be cheaper. I think that's what a lot of people think, and I don't believe that for one bit that it's any cheaper, because it's not. There are a lot more expenses when you are an owner that you require than when you're renting. A lot of utilities for renters are included, and sometimes utilities like gas and electric are not included, but you're not responsible for maintenance of the apartment. You're not responsible for the water and sewer bill, and you know, I guess like upgrades and stuff like that. When you become a homeowner, those are your responsibilities. So it's not less expensive, but there is an investment piece that goes with, oh yeah, and you're also not responsible for like the taxes and the insurance on the house. So there are more expenses that you are going to acquire, but it's an investment, because every time you make your mortgage payment, you are putting money into your house and paying down your debt, and then that's equity that you have stacking up. So look at your budget. If you live in New York City, realistically speaking, you're probably already paying anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 for your rent, honestly. So if you're looking to buy a house, if you can find a mortgage payment that is about that amount, then you probably can afford it. If you're living in other places, your rent could be like $400, $500, $600. My mom lives in Rhode Island. She has a 3-bedroom apartment with a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, a bathroom, private parking, and her rent is $700. And my husband and I lived in an apartment with 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, an open concept living room, kitchen, dining room, no private parking, and we paid $1,300. Yes, like double what my mom pays, because we live in New York. So if my mom was going to go from living in an apartment to owning a home, she may see an increase in her payments, because she might not be able to find a whole house for $700, whereas in New York, a mortgage is similar to what you're paying for your rent. But anyway, let me go back to the point. So see what your budget is and to see what you can afford. You want to outline what it is you want in a house, so that way you'll be able to look online to see what houses within your budget are out there. So if your budget is, let's just say, from a New York perspective, you can afford $2,000 for your mortgage and insurance and taxes and all that. You want to go and see the value of a house about that much, because if you need 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, you need an upstairs and a downstairs, you need a garage, you need a big backyard, you need a basement, you need all these different amenities, it starts to bring up the price. So look to see what houses are costing in your budget so that you have a good you know, understanding of what you're really going to be able to buy. So you're preparing your budget, you're looking to see what type of house you need, to see what it will cost you, and then after you do that, you want to identify where you want to live, because that really makes a difference in what you need to save, what the bank is going to give you. Like, all of these things go into place before you even call the bank, and all that good stuff. So if you want to live like in an urban environment, your property value is going to be high, your taxes might be a little bit low. If you want to live in a suburban environment, the property values are lower and the taxes are much higher, so you want to keep that in mind. After you identified where you want to live, you've figure out your budget, you look at the houses, you kind of know in this area this house is affordable for me and so on, then you want to start stacking up your capital if you haven't already. And going into the homeowner process, I don't feel like you need to save forever. Like, people might think like you have to save for like 20 years to buy a house. Like, that's not true. You can save within a year or 2 years if you budget really well and you put away a lot of money and you use your income taxes wisely. You don't accrue any more debt. You stop eating out all the time. You stop going on shopping sprees. You keep your expenses low. You can save for a down payment on a house within a year or two. If your house is going to be affordable, then your down payment, if you do like a first-time home buyers program, isn't going to be so, you know, like $50,000. Like, that's not what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a lot less than that. It's gonna be like maybe 15, maybe 20. And if you're living in like the, you know, down south, probably even 10. Like, it really depends on where you're living, for you to identify like how much money you absolutely need to save. A first-time home buyers program, I'll talk about that process a little bit more, but just briefly, you'll need to put down like 3.5% of the entire value of the house. So that's low, especially if your house is reasonably priced. And for closing, you'll need a certain percentage of money for that, and you'll need a certain percentage of money for you know, when you start like paying for your inspection on the house and you pay for your title check and all those things. You need a little bit of money for those things, but you won't get to that process until you've gone through what I've told you, and then you contact your bank and you get your pre-approval so you know what you can afford and so on. I figure it would make more sense for you to save up some money before you call the bank, because your pre-approval sometimes is based on how much money you have in the bank. But I think that these are the things you need to do before. So in my next video, what I think I'll talk about, depending on what type of questions you guys ask, will be getting that pre-approval process, unless you guys want information about something that I said comes before that. But once you get the pre-approval, then you can start looking. But your pre-approval is really going to be heavily dependent on the type of what you have saved, other investments, and you know what kind of property you're looking for, and so on. So let me know if you have any more specific questions about the things that I just listed you need to do before you go looking for a house. I'll get to those, and then in the next video I'll talk about the pre-approval process, calling the bank and getting approved for your loan and so on. Let me know if you have any questions, like I said, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and as always, I love you for watching. Bye.